G'day guys, bit of work on the Dmax. Now it's great owning a space cab ute or a dual cab and you got all that space behind the seats. But to make the most use of it, like I've said in other videos, I'm going to build a set of drawers in the back here to utilise all that space and keep us safe. We don't want stuff just sitting on the back seat. Well, not really a seat. You can put people in the back like you see there. We had Dad in the back on a trip to Millmerran a few years ago. There's not much room in the back here. Might be alright for the kids occasionally, but it's no good for adults. So it's not a dual cab ute. So remove the seats from the back. I'm going to put a sheet of ply across the floor here, bolted down to the old seat mounts. So it's nice and secure, it's fixed in there. Sheet of ply coming right across to the back of the console, and then probably 2 drawers on this side and 1 single deep drawer on the other side. And that'll keep everything secure so we don't have projectiles flying around in the case of an emergency and we have an accident. A couple of sheets of ply is all we need. Got some other bits and pieces in the back, drawer runners and everything. I'll run through that later on. So it's been bugging me for quite a while now, not utilising that space in the back of the ute the best that we can. So got a solution there. Brad the builder, can he fix it? Yes he can. So with the suicide doors on the Dmax, it's great having that big open space. And when you've got the little seats in there that fold up against the back, there's a lot of wasted space. We want to maximise every bit of space that we've got, but at the same time just watching our weight. Probably got 20 kilos of ply and bits and pieces to go in here, so that's going to increase our weight by 20 kilos and decrease our payload a little bit, but well worth it just to keep everything safe and secure and organised so we know where it is when we need it. So after a lot of measuring, after a lot of thinking, put the plan into action out with the power saw, double check everything, about 10 times actually, measure twice and cut once as they say. There was a lot of fiddling around here trying to get angles and measure the bolt holes and then cut the holes in the floor so that I had access to the base. With everything bolted in for the first time, I was then able to start setting out and planning exactly for the drawers. Get the holes cut in the base so that I can get that in there, set it all out exactly where the drawers are going to sit. After a lot of more fiddling around, that gives me access into the base to get to the jack and all the spare parts. Lots of cutting, lots of sawdust, but we're getting there, we're making progress. Get the sides on here for the drawers and then we'll get it back in the vehicle and see how it looks. Double check all the measurements, check the seat reclines. Oh, we're making a bit of progress. Get the sawdust off the lens. There we go, that's sort of the bones of it. The base all bolted in through those old seat mount bolts. I've worked it out so when the seat's back and it still reclines in a comfortable position, it'll nearly go all the way to the full back position, but we very rarely use it like that anyway. And then you'll have 2 drawers in here, 1 big deep drawer on the other side. I'm going to put a timber brace in the middle and that'll help support the weight. There is a little bit of flex there, especially with the weight of the drawers all being on this side. I might need a leg under there, we'll just see how we go. Now to secure the front, I'm just going to put a couple of metal self-tapping screws straight through into the top of the seat body, and that'll secure the front and hopefully pull it down a bit. Now I have removed obviously the seats and the little cover that goes over these hatches and cut a hole in that base piece of ply so that I can still access the jack, the tools for the spare tyre, jumper leads, belts, everything that I've got stored under there. I didn't want to just be sheeting straight over the top of that and you got no access to it, it's just more wasted space. So that there, and with the drawer runners I'm going to use, just like your ones at home in the kitchen, not the heavy duty ones, I would have liked to use those, but they're more weight as well. But with these, I can just remove the drawers and get access straight in under there when we need the jack or any of the other tools or spare parts. We'll get the top on here, still scratching my head and trying to work things out as I go here, making it up, so that we can have everything in its place. That's the key idea of putting all this together, is just knowing exactly where everything is. You can pull the drawer out, there's all the camera gear, recovery gear, and on the other side might be storage for spare bits and pieces, and when we go to the shops and do a bit of shopping. So with it back in the vehicle for the second time, if it's starting to take shape, we'll start to plan where things are going to fit. Even though I'd had all this sketched out in my head, nothing actually written down on paper, it was make it up as we go, but it was all starting to come together. Once we get that partition in the middle, braces it all up, get the top on, cut out for a little section where the Blue Eddy power station's going to sit and get strapped down. Get all that screwed and glued and get it back in the vehicle for the third time. It's all in. Just made out of 12mm non-structural ply from Bunnings. Got 2 sheets of that and everything's going to plan so far. But that's it for now. Good access in there. Once we be able to remove the drawers, you'll be able to get in there, get your jack and your spare bits out. It should work pretty well and it'll look nice once I get a bit of marine carpet on there all glued on. Might even look professional. Well, that's one side done. Check this out. No carpet or anything yet, but the drawers built. How good's that? Plenty of storage in there. And worked it just perfectly. You won't need a latch on there. Look at that, there's about a 5mm gap off of the door, so that'll hold the drawer in. But if you're parked on a hill or something, that may come out, so I will look at a latch or something on there in the future just to keep it closed if you're parked on a hill. So with the bones of it in, I'll give you a closer look at what I've done here. Basically that sheet of ply on the floor, which is bolted down to those seat mount bolts, it's all constructed, glued and screwed together, made sure that it's square so that your drawers slide in nice. Holes cut in the bottom so you've got good access to your jack once you're able to remove the drawers. And that's why I use these kitchen type runners so that you can remove the drawers. I would have liked to have used the heavy duty industrial runners, which are heavier, but these ones allow you to quickly and easily remove the drawer. With it all strutted up and supported from underneath, it was time to get on to actually making the drawers. Lots of screws, lots of glue to make sure everything's held together nice and solid. Still thinking as I go here, being custom made, fully custom designed in my head, so I'm not able to pass on the plans or the design for this. I just fully made it from scratch, measuring and cutting and shutting as we went to make sure everything fitted nicely. Lots of fiddly stuff with the drawers, but it was all really coming together now, and you can see the shape and start to plan where I can put things in there and where everything's starting to fit. With the base on the drawers, it was time for a test run, make sure everything fits in there, and by this stage I'd actually carpeted the insides, which that's the inside of the drawer with the carpet on. It nearly does look professional. Pretty happy with that so far. You'll notice the black overspray is where I painted everything black just to hide the bare timber, and I'll explain more on that later on. Nice deep drawer on the other side there, plenty of storage. So now with the drawers complete, it was time to get the carpet on the outside. I'm no upholsterer and I would never make a career out of it, especially dealing with contact adhesive, trying to get everything stuck on there where it sits in position in the vehicle. It would have been a lot easier to pull it out and do it, but I didn't really have time. It was easier just to get it on and get it in there. Plenty of contact adhesive and a lot of staples just to hold it in place. And those staples can be removed at a later date, but I'll probably end up just leaving them in there anyway. But lots of trimming. Once you get the bulk of the carpet on and sitting in there, it comes up pretty good, and it's not hard to make it look nice and neat and professional. Cutting in and around the drawers there, that was probably the worst part, trying to get them nice and neat and pulled tight on the corners. But it was all coming together and we're nearly done. Slice around where the drawers openings are so that everything moves, and there we go. Look at that. Top drawer, bottom drawer, and they both open together. Happy days. Job complete. And there you have it. The drawers are complete. I think they turned out alright, and just what I had in mind. So we can have everything organised with all the computer gear, drone gear, everything stored up in the top there for easy access. And in the bottom drawer, got other camera gear, spare bits and pieces, and everything's there ready to get it out when you need it. Everything's stashed away, got the recovery gear in behind there. Still a few empty spaces, and I'm bad for empty spaces. If there's an empty space, I want to put something in there, but being very mindful of our weight and hooking that van on and adding another 260 odd kilos of tow ball weight on there, got to be very careful of that. So trying not to fill up all the space too much, Even got the fire extinguisher there ready for quick access. I have got my trolley jack in there at the moment, but I don't think that'll be coming with us because it's too heavy, but it's nice to have, and I did design it so it will fit in there. And we're going to check once we go over the weighbridge on our next camping trip, just to double check exactly where our weights are. A torch holder, a couple of little pouches that I just screwed on, a bit excess carpet there. Hold the torch, hold the cameras ready for quick access so we can grab you some more great footage. I'm pretty happy with that overall. Blue Eddy sits nice in the back there, and easy to plug that in and charge all the camera gear. So I think we're on a winner there. Yeah, it is a little bit heavy, but it's a lot more organised than just having all that stuff sitting there in the back in containers, or just sitting there loose ready to become a projectile in the worst case that you have an accident. I'll show you the other side. Over here just got one deep drawer with a few bits and pieces in there. Battery charger, the jump pack. I've got a little 12-volt oven, but I think that'll be coming out. We don't really use it that much. Got my knife sharpening gear in there. So if you do happen to see us on the road and you need your knives sharpened, drop in and say g'day, and I'll be able to put a nice edge on them for you. But overall, very happy. I did put those little supports in underneath there just to take that weight, because that main side there with the drawer runner on there carries a fair bit of weight, and it's overhanging underneath there a little bit, so you got all that weight sitting right there. That supports it nice. Like I say about little holes to fill, I'm sure we'll find something to put in there. But in the back there we've got other bits and pieces, windbreaks and stuff stored. Overall I think it's turned out really well. Inside the drawers I did just paint them black, or anywhere that there was going to be bare timber. There's nothing worse than having nice carpet everywhere and then you've got bare pine or bare timber finish. So I just spray painted that black, the drawer runner on the bottom, and that all just slides in nicely. All glued and screwed together with a bit of Aquadeer, so that everything's nice and strong. There's no movement in that whatsoever. That is solid and going nowhere. All bolted down in the back. Getting the carpet on was a little bit of a mission, but it turned out pretty good. Trying to use that contact adhesive and get it all stuck in there and work around the corners and everything, with quite a few staples in there as well, but they're only temporary until the glue dries, so I can pluck them out once we get a bit of spare time and get on the road living our new caravan lifestyle. So I hope you found this short video a little bit interesting on how to maximise your storage in a space cab or even a dual cab ute. It's definitely going to work well for us and keep things a lot more organised once we're living out of it on a day-to-day basis and knowing where everything is and not scrounging through a heap of junk trying to find it. So thanks for watching and stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Coming up is our last camping trip. Unfortunately, sorry to break the news, but we're only going to have one more camping trip. So subscribe to our channel and check us out next week and see where we end up on one last camping trip before we turn it all around and make this our life. Living the caravan lifestyle. Me and Mandy on the road, living in our van full time. Thanks guys, see you later.